You're live.
Very good. Good morning and welcome to the May 17th meeting of the Sports Wagering Application Review Commission, also known as SPR. We've convened today's meeting to determine if one mobile sports wagering license applicant, that is Queen Sportsbook Maryland LLC, which has been qualified by the Maryland Lottery and Gaming Control Commission, should be awarded a Maryland sports wagering license. The proposed agenda and materials for today's meeting were distributed to the commission in advance. So our first item of business is a motion to approve the agenda. Do I have such a motion?
Motion made. Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of approving the agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. So our consultants from Taft will use a PowerPoint presentation to review our applicants' materials in preparation for the commission's vote. In accordance with section 91E15F of the state government article, we commissioners have had copies of the full application since it was received last October, and Taft has received questions and comments from the commission as the team of professionals has been thoroughly vetting the application. On April 27th, after completing its work, Maryland Lottery and Gaming transmitted to SWORC its decision statements for Queen Sportsbook Maryland LLC. So with that, I'll turn the floor over to Kim Kopp of Taft to describe the evaluation of the application.
Good morning, commissioners. It's good to see everyone. I don't know if the PowerPoint will go up or not, but we can certainly begin. It's coming. Okay, we can go to the next slide. And this is, I call the scorecard slide. We won't need to go back a lot of it, just telling us where we started and where we are. We had 27 applicants, 21 for mobile, 6 for facility licenses. To date, we've issued 20 licenses, and we will consider 1 today. If we can go to the next slide. As we all know, before SWARC can consider any of the applicants, first they must be deemed qualified by Maryland Lottery and Gaming Control Commission. And that happened at its meeting on April 27th, as the chairman has advised, for 1 mobile applicant. So we will be looking at that applicant at this meeting. If we can go to the next slide. In considering the applicants, we will proceed like we have in the past. I think we've got this down now. We'll give a presentation. Of course, there's time to ask any questions. And then, of course, if we're inclined, we could take action on that applicant. And the next slide. As we know, in considering the applicants, SWARC established in its regulations 13, specific criteria for awarding sports wagering licenses. The next few slides list those criteria. They've been in our public documents. So I think the public and all of the commissioners are well aware of them. So I won't repeat them here to not take up time, but this slide lists the first 4. If we can go to the next slide, there's the continuing of the criteria. Again, we've publicly discussed these many times. If we can go to the next slide. Last bit of our criteria that will be considered when we look at the applicants. And if we can go to the next slide. This is our public interest considerations. Again, as we've now become, kind of routine at doing this, before we can award a sports wagering license, we must, this commission must declare that the applicant and the award of the license would be in the public interest. Previously at SWARC's meetings, we've discussed these public interest factors. You'll see some that are listed on the screen here. Again, we've discussed these publicly a number of times. So for the interest of time, we can go to the next slide, which lists some of the additional public interest factors that I believe, or that I know that this commission has used in prior awards. And I suspect we will be using for today's award. They're listed here, so I won't repeat them. Mr. Chairman, I think this is the time where you have to take a motion on those factors.
Exactly. Again, we've been doing this on a cadence for several months now. The public interest factors were first ratified by the commission in November 18th, 2021. And for the purpose of approving this applicant, I'm called upon to request a motion to reaffirm those public interest criteria as the basis for awarding a license today. Do I have such a motion?
So
So
moved.
moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. The motion's carried. So with that, would you please present the application or this applicant?
Certainly will. If we can proceed or advance to the next slide. We have one mobile applicant, which we can begin on the next slide. And that is Queen Sportsbook Maryland LLC, doing business as Queen Sportsbook. I've also seen it referred to as Queen Sports. This entity is a privately held entity. It was newly formed. It was formed for the purpose of pursuing mobile sports wagering in Maryland. It's owned 95% by Casino Queen Interactive LLC, a subsidiary of the Queen Casino and Entertainment Inc. It's also owned 5% by 3 individuals. These individuals are employees of the ultimate parent company, which I've defined here as Queen Casino. These individuals each own 1 2/3 percentage LLC interests in this applicant, and all 3 of them satisfy SWARC's ownership criteria. If we can go to the next slide, we can talk a little bit about the parent company. The applicant with its immediate parent, Casino Queen Interactive, will conduct the sports wagering operations. So it will not be using another third party like some of our other applicants have in the past. Again, Casino Queen Interactive is a subsidiary of an entity called the Queen Casino and Entertainment Inc. And that's hard for me to say because it's a remotely new name change for them. They operate in Illinois, so I'm familiar with this entity. It operates in 4 casinos. 1 is in Illinois, 1 is in Iowa, and there are 2 in Louisiana. Through these casinos, right now they currently do offer sports wagering, both retail and mobile, primarily through third parties and third-party market access agreements. But what it's working on now is it's expecting to launch under its own brand in Iowa, Louisiana, and Maryland, where it's in the process of pursuing licenses. So it does have experience will have that experience operating retail and mobile sports wagering. Again, being a newly formed applicant, we don't have a lot of information on this operating history of the applicant, but it will be relying on its parent, again, that's Queen Casino, to fund its startup cost and shortfalls. And that the financial information we have of the parent company is not publicly reported, but we do have it. All of the commissioners have had access to it. So with that, that would be Queen Sportsbook Maryland LLC, doing business as Queen Sportsbook.
All right, thank you. Commissioners, does anybody have any questions or comments of the consultants regarding their recommendation that we approve? We're satisfied they've fulfilled the intent of the Maryland legislation, and and lottery is satisfied they're prepared to conduct business appropriately. All right, then. May I ask for a motion to determine and declare that award of a mobile sports wagering license to Casino Queen Interactive LLC. Is that the right name, Kim?
The applicant here is Queen Sportsbook Maryland LLC. Yes.
Sorry, there's so many names I got messed up there.
Not a problem.
Queen Sportsbook Maryland LLC is in the public interest based on the factors identified in our past meetings and consistent with the purposes of Title IX, Subtitle 1E of the state government article. Do I have a motion? Thank you, Randy. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Frank. All in favor? All in favor of the motion? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Thank you. Next, a motion to award a mobile sports wagering license to my darling Queen Casino LLC. Queen Sportsbook Maryland LLC, subject to the applicant submitting the memorandum of understanding required under section 9(1)(e) 15(I)(2) of the state government article.
Motion made.
Second.
Thank you. The motion is duly moved and seconded. Discussion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion carries. So that takes us to diversity plans. We'll receive, today, the commission will review diversity plans that have been submitted by two awardees from last month's meeting. Veteran Services Corporation doing business as Vital Services Contractors, Inc. and Whitman Gaming, Inc. Pursuant to the requirements in the addendum to our mobile and facility sports wagering license applications. These awardees submitted their diversity plans within the allotted 30 days after license award, and staff reviewed the plans to ensure they're responsive to the plan requirements in the application addendum. As a reminder, the license application addendum called for each awardee to agree to the following. First, that the applicant affirms it will make a good faith effort to meet the diversity objectives outlined in its diversity plan, and that any changes to its diversity plan must be approved by Lottery and Gaming. Second, that the applicant agrees to report diversity metrics to the extent available in the form and frequency required by Lottery, and to provide any other information the commission considers appropriate regarding ownership, investment, management, employment, and contracting opportunities by diverse participants and groups. And three, the applicant agrees that its diversity plan and the information reported above may be made available to the public. Lottery staff advises it's developing a form that all licensees will use to report their diversity metrics on an annual basis. And we have a target date for that now. Lottery will provide the licensees with additional guidance about this process in the next couple of months. I've asked Lottery Executive James Butler to briefly present each licensee's diversity plan for commission discussion and consideration for approval. James.
Good morning, commissioners. Thank you, Commissioner Brandt. So as mentioned, there are two diversity plans we'll review today. The first one is Veteran Services Corporation doing business as Vital Services Contractors. This awardee, VSC, is a new startup sportsbook venture that is 100% MBE. It's owned and operated by Manuel Bailey. And Mr. Bailey has been involved in the U.S. gaming industry since 2010. VSC has selected Beefy Limited, a UK-based remote gaming software company, as its sportsbook operator. 92% of VSC's employees are minority, 38% are women, and 82% of VSC's management team are minorities and women. VSC has engaged two consultants on this business venture, and each consultant will receive 2.5% of the net profit. These two NDOT certified minority-owned and women-owned firms are the Shuttle Bus Company and Isra Technology, and they will provide direct services to the planned sportsbook. VSC has also signed a memorandum of understanding with Bowie State University to provide internships, training, IT certifications, and summer and full-time career opportunity with VSC. Commissioners, VSC submitted a diversity plan consisting of 9 pages, and I present them to you for your review and consideration.
Very good. Any questions or comments by the commissioners on this diversity plan? Very good. Then may I ask for a motion to determine? No, geez.
So move.
Yeah, I'm supposed to say the applicant's name. I had a job with my name, so I assume the minutes will get it right. Detailed in section B of the application memorandum. I've got a motion. Do I have a second?
That's it.
Very good. Thanks. Any Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? That motion carries.
Okay,
Jay,
the next,
the other one.
the next one is Whitman Gaming, Inc. This awardee, Whitman, is a 100% minority-owned company, and it is owned and operated by Mr. Carol Henson. This sportsbook will be located within the sports bar known as Sports and Social Bethesda, which is located in North Bethesda. Although Whitman's does not have any prior experience operating a sportsbook, Mr. Henson and his affiliated company has served as a licensed MBE contractor to Maryland casinos and lottery retailers since 2009. Whitman has entered into a letter of intent with PPE Casinos Resort Maryland, LLC, doing business as Live Casino and Hotel Maryland to operate its retail sportsbook. And in this letter of intent, PPE may subcontract any of the services that it needs to, and it plans to contract the sportsbook operations to Betfair Interactive US LLC, doing business as FanDuel Sportsbook, which currently operates the PPE's retail sportsbook at Live Casino. Whitman plans to collaborate with and recruit from local historically Black colleges and universities and provide training and mentorship opportunities to encourage career growth for diverse candidates, and anticipates that it will advertise the sportsbook through print, television, radio outlets, predominantly with minority audiences. Whitman aspires to be a strong financial supporter of a diverse number of worthwhile community charities and nonprofit organizations through its community reinvestment and giving programs. Commissioners, Whitman submitted a diversity plan consisting of 3 pages, and I present them for your consideration.
Very good. Thank you, James. Any questions or discussion of Whitman Gaming's plan? All right, then with that, I'm looking for a motion to determine that the Whitman Gaming Inc. diversity plans in compliance with the requirements detailed in Section B of the Sports Wagering Application Addendum.
So move.
Thank you, Frank.
Second.
Thank you, Randy. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion is approved. And that leads us then to, again, ask for a motion to post both of these diversity plans on the SWORC website so that they may be made available to the public.
Motion made.
Thank you, Randy. Thank you for the second, Frank. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion carries. All right, that leads us to next steps on the agenda. The consultants and lottery are continuing to review the remaining 5 mobile sports wagering and 1 Class B facility license applications that have been received. And then upon completion of review, they'll be presented to SWORC for our consideration. For today's awardee, the SWORC staff will be contacting them about completing the statutory required MOU. And once that MOU is completed inside and the decision statement is then today's action will be final. Queen Sportsbook has also reminded they must submit their diversity plan to SWORC within 30 days after their license award. And we'll transmit our decision statement to MLGCC, who will review the awardee's internal controls and responsible gaming measures, as well as monitor its controlled demonstrations before issuance of their license. So with that, I don't see a need for us to go into closed section today, and unless someone else on the commission feels otherwise. Ready?
No, indeed.
Next.
No, not at all.
Okay. So our next scheduled SWORC meeting, it will again be virtual. It's scheduled for June 21st at 9 a.m. If we have additional applicants then ready for our consideration. So please keep that time clear on your calendars. And then with that, do I have a motion to adjourn today?
So moved.
So moved.
Thank you, gentlemen. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thanks, everyone. That concludes today's meeting.
Aye, all.
Rest of the day.
Bye.
Thank you.
Have a
Have a
good-
good day, everyone.